love with you. I don't give a fuck how many times we get it, we bump heads.
That's real.
You make me mad. I'm in love with you. Don't down me.
Big Boogie just let something slip that shook the whole Memphis scene. He hinted that C-Money's death wasn't random at all, but a sacrifice. And the wild part? He pointed the finger straight at his own label boss, Yo Gotti. That's right. Boogie basically said he's done covering for CMG and he's done protecting Gotti's empire. He laid it all out, exposing why C-Money ended up unloved and who really had the most to gain from his tragic end. Boogie didn't just spill label tea, he sparked a full-on firestorm that could collapse everything CMG has built. The message is loud and clear. CMG might be on its last legs, and Boogie isn't planning on sticking around to see how ugly it gets. Now, the big question everyone's whispering is this: was C-Money's death just another Memphis street hit, or was it the dirtiest betrayal ever inside CMG itself? That's a question nobody's letting go of anytime soon. And how did it all start? With one little video. Big Boogie went online and dropped a short but powerful clip. No face, no visuals, just his voice dripping with menace.
How I feel right now? 100%. I don't fuck with nobody. And I'm finna make everybody regret playing with me. That's all I gotta say.
He talked about making somebody regret playing with him. It wasn't long, but from his tone, you could tell he meant every single word. That wasn't just a post. It was a warning shot, and the streets heard it loud and clear. At first, fans were scratching their heads, trying to decode what Big Boogie was even hinting at. But then he followed it up with another post on his IG story. And that's when the pieces started clicking together. He wrote, "I'm focusing on my daughter, myself, and my career. I ain't letting nobody get in my way. It's gonna be 2026. I'm changing day by day as a man. People barely ask me about my mental. I barely even talk to anybody now. I don't care to. Everybody that ever played with me before made me this way. Today I'm focused because I see a bigger picture of my own life. Numb and grinding." He didn't need to drop Yo Gotti's name. He didn't even have to bring up C-Money directly, and because the shade was obvious. The silence around those names spoke louder than if he had typed them out. Fans immediately felt like Boogie had finally snapped. He was overprotecting people, overcovering secrets, and now he was putting his energy into survival and his family, and the timing couldn't be ignored. By the time he posted that, the streets were already buzzing with suspicion about C-Money's death. Too smooth, too calculated, too clean to just be some random Memphis street beef. But when Boogie confessed that he was numb and didn't care anymore, it was like confirmation to everyone watching. People said it felt like a man washing his hands of the mess, and that's the moment the whispers turned into a storm. Fast Cash C-Money lost his life in a shootout in the Fraser neighborhood of Memphis. And at first, everybody thought it was just another case of pointless street violence. But once the raw, uncut footage of that night hit the internet, the narrative flipped instantly. Suddenly, it didn't look random at all. It looked like somebody wanted him gone. A straight-up targeted hit. That tiny crack was all fans needed to start pulling at the threads. And what came out changed everything people thought they knew about this tragedy. Word is, C-Money already had a sense that danger was circling weeks before his death.
So people saying Memphis rapper Fast Cash C-Money just passed away. But the people that don't recognize him, he had the viral song High Off Me that went viral. If I ain't tripping, I think that's his biggest song, but he sadly just passed.
And he wasn't about to leave his girl and kids empty-handed. Behind the scenes, he had been grinding to finally lock in that CMG deal with Yo Gotti. But that wasn't the only move he made. According to insiders, C-Money also secured a life insurance policy to protect his family in case the worst went down. That right there raised eyebrows, because it sounded like a man preparing for something big. Like he already knew his days were numbered. And what makes it even messier is what happened after his passing. His girlfriend Kaya set up a GoFundMe to cover funeral expenses and have a little left for the kids, which stunned fans. Why would the family of a man who had just been pushing to sign with one of the biggest labels in Memphis need to crowdsource money like that? Kaya poured her heart out in a Facebook tribute where she wrote, "Courtney taught me so much. So happy we got to love on each other. You took my heart with you for real. All I can do is play your music to hear your voice." That message broke people, but it also left them suspicious. How could an artist fighting for a big CMG deal and planning for his family's future end up leaving his loved ones depending on GoFundMe? Something about it just didn't sit right with the public. C-Money might have still been on the come-up, but nobody who knew him believed he'd ever leave his family struggling. And if the rumors floating around are true, he was already planning ahead in case the worst happened. Just days after his death, a leaked document hit Reddit, allegedly showing parts of his CMG contract. And according to that leak, He was supposed to receive a payout tied to CMG if he passed away. But when the time came, that money vanished into thin air, gone like smoke. Fans thought maybe Yo Gotti would step in, show love, and help take care of the family of a young artist tied to his label. After all, signing with CMG painted a target on C-Money's back, whether Gotti admitted it or not. But what did the family actually get? Nothing. No heartfelt tribute, no financial support, no visits, not even a single post. Just silence. And in the court of public opinion, that silence sounded like confirmation of everyone's darkest suspicions. That maybe, just maybe, C-Money was sacrificed for Gotti's gain. To make it worse, C-Money had literally just signed that CMG deal the day before he was killed. The celebration footage was still fresh online, him and his crew happy, turning up, celebrating the contract, when suddenly a car pulled up and unleashed bullets. According to the police report, multiple houses in the area got sprayed, but somehow, out of everyone there, the only person who ended up dead was C-Money. Fans couldn't ignore the coincidence. Was this really just another Memphis shootout? Or was the chaos just a smokescreen for a planned takedown? And here's the chilling part. C-Money wasn't just a rookie waiting for a label to make him. He was already buzzing, already building his name before Gotti stepped in. That contract was supposed to skyrocket his career, but instead it became the very paperwork fans believed tied him to his death. C-Money eventually figured out that he and Yo Gotti weren't moving with the same vision. While he was dreaming about taking his career to the next level with real meetings, rollout plans, and paperwork, Gotti seemed locked in on just one thing: what C-Money could bring to the label's pockets. To Gotti, this wasn't about building a future for C-Money, it was about building more shine for CMG, and C-Money saw the red flags piling up. What really drove the point home was when Gotti started moving in ways that looked shady to everyone paying attention. If you know anything about Memphis street politics, then you already know the smoke that's been surrounding CMG and Young Dolph's PRE crew. That tension runs deep in Memphis. It's not just business, it's blood.
What happened, gang? They just said my got killed.
After Dolph's murder, the streets were buzzing with accusations. Fingers were pointed straight at Yo Gotti and his brother Big Jook. Some even speculated that Big Jook was the one who gave the order. With that kind of talk floating around, every move CMG made was being watched like a hawk. And then came the bombshell. Hernandez Govan, a close associate of Big Jook, was arrested in connection to Dolph's murder. That connection was way too close for comfort. Not long after, Big Jook himself ended up dead in another violent hit. Some said it was karma, others called it straight-up revenge. Either way, the writing was on the wall. The beef wasn't over, it was escalating. And right in the middle of that dangerous storm was Yo Gotti, running CMG like a mob boss. Over the years, he built a rep for being controlling, demanding loyalty above all else, and running his crew with a strict hierarchy. Disrespect the boss, you pay the price. And most artists under CMG knew better than to cross that line. But C-Money wasn't built to be silent forever. And that's where things started to turn deadly. For a while, CMG looked untouchable. Glorilla blowing up, 42 Doug dropping hits, Moneybag Yo charting, and Black Youngsta always writing for the team. Yo Gotti had built a roster other labels envied. But after Young Dolph's murder, the whole vibe shifted. That mob boss style Gotti once got praised for, it suddenly looked like the very same gangster mentality people wanted no part of anymore. One by one, CMG artists started fading from the spotlight. And before long, the only one really keeping the label alive was Glorilla. And as much as she was shining, one artist alone can't carry a whole empire on their back. For Gotti, this wasn't the dynasty he pictured when he built CMG. So he went quiet. Fewer posts, fewer public appearances, and word on the street was he even started tinkering with his artists' contracts behind closed doors. He was desperate to flip the narrative, to make CMG look polished again. And the only way to do that? Cut loose anybody who didn't play by his rules. Take Black Youngsta, one of Gotti's most loyal soldiers. Everybody knows Black was the muscle, the guy who'd do the dirt Gotti wouldn't dare touch himself. That kind of loyalty worked when Gotti was running the label like a mafia family. But now, that image was burning CMG from the inside. Suddenly, Black Youngsta's brand of loyalty looked like a liability. So Gotti started looking for fresh faces to clean up the brand, and that's where C-Money entered the picture. But here's the twist. Gotti didn't see him as the next breakout star. To Gotti, C-Money was just a piece to move around the chessboard. At first, C-Money ignored the red flags, convincing himself this was his big break. But as Gotti's moves got shadier, reality hit him hard. Signing with CMG didn't just put him on the map, it put a bullseye on his back. Because the truth was ugly. Gotti wasn't hunting for new talent. He was hunting for pawns. And C-Money walked straight into the trap. To Yo Gotti, C-Money was never a star in the making. He was just an escape route, a piece in Gotti's bigger plan. But when news broke that Fast Cash C-Money had been killed, the entire CMG camp was shaken to its core. And nobody took it harder than Big Boogie. You could feel it in his very first post about the tragedy. He wrote, C-Money Smith, Jesus brother, I'm hurt to my heart, my favorite rapper from day one. I'm hurt about you, boy. This wasn't just a label mate talking. This was raw pain. Boogie wasn't holding back. And that grief quickly turned into a full breakdown. The pain hit him so deep that he ended up canceling his own birthday bash, which was supposed to go down in Memphis. He broke the news in a blunt Facebook post that read, I'm straight on Memphis. Birthday bash canceled. You guys lame forever. Before tagging C-Money and dropping crying emojis. It wasn't long or poetic, but it didn't need to be. Those short sentences told the world everything. Boogie wasn't just mourning, he was stepping away from the madness. To outsiders, it might have looked like just another artist grieving a friend. But anyone who knows how hot Memphis rap politics are understood the deeper message. Boogie was laying low to avoid more bloodshed. Fans immediately caught on and actually applauded the decision. In the comments, people were straight up relieved. One wrote, "That was a good idea, bro. You just saved people's lives." Another added, "He threw a pool party in my city, Atlanta. Because he knew if he would have did it in Memphis, it would have went sour. Do your birthday bash in Atlanta, gang." The message was clear. Even in mourning, Boogie understood the danger tied to C-Money's death, and he wasn't about to risk adding more names to the casualty list. After Boogie's recent posts, fans started putting the puzzle pieces together, realizing he's been leaving cryptic messages ever since C-Money's death. In one, he wrote, "Everybody finna regret what they did," and said, "Watch this." In another, he dropped the line, "Going silent is my final warning." At first, people brushed it off like random venting. But now, with C-Money gone and Yo Gotti moving suspiciously quiet, those words don't sound random anymore. They sound like warnings. And then came the bombshell. Stan G stepped in during a chilling no-jumper interview and told Black Youngsta and the rest of CMG to literally watch their backs.
Dealing with them Texas boys, them folk got hit up. Them folk got hit up everywhere you go to, like the Fed watching it. You know what I'm talking about? He signed that boy right here. That boy ended up going to jail. So they watching that boy so close right now because they you know what I'm talking about? The case is in August. You know what I'm talking about? I talked to Govan. I did an interview with Hernandez Govan, the dude who set the whole supposedly, you know what I'm saying, dog murder up.
According to him, Yo Gotti has no problem cutting people off, not just from the label, but from life itself. That hit fans like a thunderclap, especially since the entire crew was still in mourning for C-Money. Suddenly, all eyes shifted to Big Boogie, the only one bold enough to keep dropping hints, pointing fingers, and demanding answers. But here's the scary part. If Yo Gotti really did have a hand in C-Money's death, then what makes Boogie safe? His silence right now doesn't look like protection. It looks like a countdown ticking away. And if Gotti is already scouting for his next fall guy, then Big Boogie could be walking right into the same trap that C-Money never escaped. So now the question isn't just if C-Money was sacrificed, it's whether Boogie just painted a target on his own back by exposing too much. If you're still following this messy saga, hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe for more wild stories just like this. Until next time, stay tuned, because this story is only getting darker.